Hi guys, welcome to tonight's live. Unfortunately, yet again, my software let me down tonight by not being able to connect to my actual camera. I thought staffing issues was an issue, but it definitely isn't half as bad as when it comes to software. So the original link I gave you, obviously I had to cancel that link because the software I use, Ecamm, wasn't connecting. But here we go. Right, so let not let anything stop us or get in the way from building what we need to build. Yeah, just welcome to tonight's live. So tonight's live is all about understanding the backwards or everything you need to understand about commercial customers and how commercial customers is so much different to domestic customers. So if you're currently doing domestic cleaning, it's quite easy to actually find customers in a certain sense of normal domestic customers recommending you, domestic customers just doing a quick search and then finding you that way. But tonight is what you need to know about commercial customers and why it's sometimes harder, or it seems to be harder. It's not really, it's actually easier, but it seems to be harder to get commercial accounts. So if you haven't heard of me before, I'm Ilse Whiteman, the cleaning coach. And hi, Vicky, very warm welcome. And understanding how to get customers and how it works before how to get the customers is very important. So commercial customers, what makes them a lot more different is the fact that it's B2B, so it's business to business, where when you have domestic customers, it's just normal customers, it's just normal people. B2B customers are a lot more educated in the sense of they run businesses, they deal with other customers. So you have to deal with them as a business rather than as just a normal customer. And I'd say they are more educated. I'm not saying your domestic customers aren't educated at all. I'm just saying the way you have to deal with them is a bit different. So, and obviously, once you understand more about how to get these customers and how to work with these customers, the job becomes so much easier. So, what I said about the B2B, you have to remember that some offices or some actual contracts, some of these offices have contracts or any commercial account, because we didn't personally as a business believe that we tied any customer into a contract for a length of time, because as far as we're concerned, that we are as good in 10 years as we will be on day one. So if you're not happy at any time, all we want is a month's notice, because that was our promise. So we will deliver and deliver and deliver, and we're not going to tie you into a contract. But a lot of commercial customers are tied into a contract. So you, for one, finding out when that contract ends, it's like, you know, you can call them and try to find out. It will never happen. Very rarely will they say, oh yes, end of August. So we've actually found that a little bit of a waste of time to even try to find that out. However, there are the offices that actually just have normal people cleaning their offices, which obviously that's easier because they sort of go in and just sort of like, they don't have insurance, so they do it a bit cheaper. But you have to remember that these customers want top quality cleaning, but also a top quality service, a lot more than domestic customers, because of the fact is they know how business is run. They've got a business themselves. And if they got an administrator doing it for them or an office manager, these people expect top service, not necessarily just the cleaning. It's what comes with it as well. Office cleaning or commercial cleaning is also a lot less emotional. It's a lot less involved, or that you have to be involved. Hi Lisa, welcome. So understanding that the emotion is gone. You have more emotion with domestic customers. Even if you sort of start your business and you're just sort of starting out, you tend to build that the relationship with your domestic customers, and then you sort of take on other accounts. Then you go on to commercial and you feel it's the same, but it's not. It's business to business. So this is what I've got to offer. Just do the job and get on with it. They don't want to micromanage. They don't want to babysit, and they want a professional service guaranteed. Most of the companies commercial wise, I mean, we had people, so many people say, well, we've tried 16 companies, we've tried this, we've tried that, and we're fed up with trying to find a company that can actually, you know what, just do it, get on with it, do what we ask. But a very important fact is never, ever, ever take anything personal. Whatever happens, never take anything personal. So the most important thing is that when you get to B2B marketing or trying to get commercial accounts, is the fact that all of the clients that's never heard of you before, they are cold customers. So all customers in any business is rated on either cold or a warm or a hot audience. So if they're a cold audience, which means they've never heard of you before, they're probably not that likely to use you just out of like a quick search. They might, 2, maybe 3%. And then you get the warm audience, which basically means is bearing on the mind they've heard of you before, they know you exist. Hi Mandy, welcome. And you need to transfer your customers from cold to warm to hot. You need to take them through a process. So when a customer just out of the blue calls, it's either a recommendation or they do a quick search and they probably just want a cheap quote. So you need to get them, like I say, from cold to hot. So you need to warm them up, because saying you're a great business and saying that you actually we do great cleaning and we guarantee your cleaning means nothing, because everybody says it. I always say the proof is in the pudding, really. You need to talk to them differently, because what they want is they want their reputation protected. They want customers to come into their office and know that they don't want their customers to go, oh, they're not very professional because look at their cleaners, they don't do a good job. They also don't want to micromanage. They want to make sure it's done for them. But it's that process. So recommendations you can actually charge a little bit more for, because of the fact they're already warm or they're already hot. In most cases, it will be hot. And that's why it's important to understand when a customer first call you and they don't agree with your price, or they say, oh, whatever the case may be, and they don't go with you, capture their email address and ask them, if we have any offers coming up, can we email you? And then get their permission. Obviously, GDPR rules, you have to get their permission, and then you can email them certain things like, oh, look at this customer. And look at this customer, you know, what they said, the recommendations, the testimonials, and then warm them up to you. But it's first of all, you need to let them know you exist. And the way you need to think about it is, I would always say this, spread your seeds when it comes to customers. There's 3,000-4,000 people out there that want your services, and you're actually doing them a misjustice if you don't actually let them know that you exist. Hi, Rachel. So the quickest way, obviously, to get commercial customers would always be recommendations. And the first ever office contract I had, was probably now 15 years ago, was asking my domestic customers and saying to them, if you know, obviously, of somebody that have an office, recommend us and I will give you 5 or 10% off your domestic cleaning. And that's how we first basically got the word out there, because these people that can afford for their houses to be cleaned every day, they work in offices, they know people that work in offices, they got friends that work in offices. So it was about spreading your seed and remind them all the time, look, if you refer us, obviously terms and conditions, which means you have to clean that property for 3 months minimum before they get what you're giving for free. Like, we can clean your oven for free if you recommend us. It's something that is not a lot of work to them, but yet they get a free oven clean, or they get some percentage off for life. So start with your domestic customers. That's the quickest way, because obviously it's recommendation that you will get. And you're then basically that customer that's been recommended, that you recommended to, is a hot customer. So they're going to love you already because somebody has said, wow, you have to use them, they're amazing. So they will go with near enough, I wouldn't say any price, because you can't go in double, but they will go in with the price that you're asking without saying, oh, well, we were only used to £10 an hour. You always have to find out as well, what are they used to? You have to ask your customers when they first inquire, your cleaner or cleaning service, or how many cleaning services have you used in the past, so that you know if they use, say for instance, oh well, the cleaner came in, then you know that obviously the cleaner without the insurance, that was a lot cheaper, but you're going to know they are used to cheap prices. So if you come in with a really big sort of price, what you normally will charge, then they're going to go, really? Prepare them beforehand and say, I do understand that you had a cleaner and she probably charged a lot less, but obviously we've got insurance, this is our certificates, here's everything you need to do. We do cost sheets, we do our risk assessments, and we make sure everything's properly done, and then we guarantee our service. So you have to make sure they understand that you will be a little bit higher right in the beginning. So you're warming them up even further before you even give them the price. So the other great way of getting commercial customers is by network marketing. Now, I know a lot of you, I've mentioned it so many times that, but I don't have time for network marketing. But if you want to get a lot of work very quickly, this is the best way to go with network marketing. You go in and it's referrals. The whole system is worked on referrals. You refer people and people refer you all the time. All those people that does network marketing, they've got their own offices. They know people, loads of people that have offices. They know estate agents. But it's about building a friendship with them, because friends recommend friends. That's very important. Once you got your foot in there, the people in there like, know and trust you, they will recommend you non-stop. Very well, Mike. Finally, you joined me on the live. Very nice to see you back. And give them an incentive to reward you. Work hard at this. And go through the process of getting to know them and ask them, how can I help you? The more you help them, the more they will help you. And this is also great because every single business owner, when you go network marketing, knows 300-400 people. So the better you get to know them, the more the referrals will come in. Like I say, the minute they know, like, and trust you. So it's not about going to one meeting. It's about going to a few meetings, go consistently, work hard at it. It's definitely worth the way in. I think by the fifth meeting when I joined BNI, by the fifth meeting, I had 6 offices. So on one day, everybody was like, because they saw one of my jobs that was done, that I did for one of the people in there. So it's definitely worth going, build bonds, make friends, and they will refer you because they will want to help and refer you. So then how to get the commercial accounts and why it's important to change your market strategy. Like we said before, the difference between domestic and commercial is the B2B business. So you have to do things a little bit different. So these days, because of GDPR rules, if I say it correctly, it's important. What you can do, the first thing you can do is actually do a Google search. Now, obviously, like I say, you can't contact them by email without their permission. So I will always suggest is introducing your company to them. It's about spreading your seeds, leaflets, sales letters, dropping them off. But do a Google search first for all the offices, or start small. You have to do an office search with a certain amount of employees. Now, you can find this information out. Not all offices will actually share this information, but you can do a Google search. But remember to search for 2019. Anything you ever search for in Google, how to comb my dog, 2019, because you want the latest and the freshest information out there on that subject. But then you can also search how many employees they have, because if you've never done commercial cleaning, and you all of a sudden get a call from this office and they have 300 employees, you're going to need a lot of employees to cover, so you won't be able to do it. So make sure you target offices that are small, that's under 50 employees. You can actually, like I say, it's going to take a bit of time, but spend the time, find these customers. And in most cases, you can use LinkedIn and Twitter to find office managers. And obviously it needs to be in your area. So you can very quickly do a search and find your ideal customers. See where they hang out. Do they go to a BNI? Where do they hang out with other business owners? And go and get to know them and get your foot in the door. But also remember, it's about waiting game. First of all, you might drop a sales letter off, or you might drop one of your leaflets off and you hear nothing for 3 or 4 weeks. That's fine. For one, they might not be quite ready. They might not even know they got a problem yet. Well, it's niggly, but they're not quite ready to change yet. They might be in a contract. They might actually be in the position at that time where there's something happening in the business that doesn't allow them to actually do that. So what you need to do is just remember that. It's about spreading your seeds and really let everybody know that you exist. Let everybody have something about your business, because it's your job to constantly remind them. If you haven't heard anything, you can either send them a follow-up email and just to say, look, I have sent, okay, if it goes to trash, it goes to trash. Don't do it again after that. Or you can actually call them and say, hey, I dropped a letter off the other day. Just wondered if we could, be of service, and if you'd like to know any more. And follow up though. But don't think I'm going to do 300 leaflet drops and I'm going to hear, in a month's time, I'm going to be so busy. Because it doesn't work like that. But a year, 6 months, when they are ready, you're first in mind. And that's the most important part, is always to be first in mind, to remind them. I think all my window cleaners that even I use for my house was as leaflets being dropped through my drawer. I mean, I wouldn't even have known that they really exist. I wouldn't have paid any attention if I did a Google search for one. But it's leaflets, and even cleaners, I still get loads of leaflets come through. But just be productive, and don't worry about, oh, I'm going to drop 1,000 leaflets, I won't be able to cope with the work, because it's about spreading your seeds, and then do it sort of on a 3 or 6 monthly basis, to get to the stage where you're constantly then getting a flow of customers in, which will make obviously finding staff so much easier. Right, so that is it for tonight's live. I don't want to go on too much. I can talk for England, as most of you can know. So next week's live, next Wednesday, will be about commercial cleaning staff and how much easier staff is to get for commercial cleaning. Right, so let me just quickly go through the comments. Lisa, Mandy. Glad you made it, Mandy. Sharon, hi Sharon. Right, hello, I'm listening. This is good information. Oh, thank you, bless you. Rachel, hi, sorry I'm late. Vicky, I had a call today offering me, let me just put on the screen here. Right, Vicky says, I had a call today offering me a contract with them. I am starting to find people hearing about me. I'm always asking, I found out about me. So I have an idea who's recommended me. I was recommended by a company I've never heard of. It might be a company you have never heard of, Vicky, but it might actually be somebody working at that company at the time that said, oh, my friend uses so-and-so for domestic customers, because also the B2B businesses would rather have referrals or work on that rather than just do a Google search and just contact random companies. Because the other thing you've got to remember with a lot of cleaning companies don't get back to customers. That's why, like the video I have on my sales script, is if somebody calls you, boy, break the bank, but call them back as soon as possible, because so many customers that contacted us, when we got back to them straight away, was absolutely amazed that we got back to them. Actually, just got back to them, because they're like, well, I called 6 companies and nobody ever got back to me. Or they took 3 or 4 days. And that's what they don't like. They're in business. They want things to happen very quickly. They don't have time to waste. And customers hate going through the process of getting or trying to get people to clean. Because all they just want to clean. They don't want to worry about the getting people in to look at it and going through the quotes. They hate doing that, and understand that and make that experience so pleasurable for them that they're like, wow. I mean, when you first go and see an office, impress their socks off. I would like also try to make that sort of emotional connection with them, but not as much obviously as domestic. But hey, you know, take your business card in and always ask for them, oh, where's your desk? Let me see. Something we did. And then if we saw something, a picture of the kids or something on there, I commented on something personal to that office manager or to that person that took us through. And that's just to make that actual connection a bit more real and to stand out from the other 5-6 quotes that she might or might not get. So if you make that connection and do things differently, then you can actually get to the stage where your price doesn't matter as much. I mean, it still will, because businesses do have budgets, but you can charge a bit more for office cleaning because you work it out differently. Right, so very glad you joined us, Mike. Vicky Vicky, LinkedIn. Let me just put this on here. Is LinkedIn a good place to search? Yes, LinkedIn is very good for finding office managers, because you can put in office managers in this area, because most people, professional people, B2B, will have their information on there and they're working for whatever company. So it's probably better going actually do a Google search first in the offices in your area, all the offices that you can do with a certain amount of staff, and then go and hunt, go and do your research. And remember, before you do any bid or you go to any office, always remember to do your research before about that company, so you're prepared and say, oh yeah, well, you've got this many staff or whatever the case may be. But remember, when you do a search, to do that 2019 at the end, so you get the latest and the freshest information about them. So yes, LinkedIn is a very good place after you got all your information you'll need. Lizzie says, great info, thanks. Thank you very much, Lizzie. Nicola Dow says, fantastic advice, thank you. And I put that right in the middle of my face. Thank you very much, Nicola. And then Elaine Hisley says, great info, glad I joined. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, guys, if you have any more comments, now's the time to comment. Like I said, next week, Wednesday live, will be more about the staff side of things, and probably, no, I won't. I was going to say I'll probably do how to quote, but actually let me know in the comments, which one would you like to see, about cleaning staff or how to quote, or the easiest way to quote, so you don't lose money. Let me know down below, but that's it for tonight. No more comments. So thank you very much for joining me live, and if remember to give me a thumbs up or love art if you love this live. See you all in the group. In the meantime, have a lovely rest of your evening. See you later, guys.